Hey Ford fans, welcome back to the channel. On this episode, we are getting back on the 69 F100, aka Vicky, and we are going to be showing you the cheapest way to do a Crown Vic swap on your classic Ford pickup. Let's get into it. What we have here is a complete front suspension from a 2007 Mercury Grand Marquis, which is the same thing as a Ford Crown Vic. Some of you may not be too familiar, so I'm going to get into the basics and fundamentals of why this is such a popular swap and what people are doing it for and what they gain. So here's my 69 F100, also known as Vicky. It sat not running in a field for about 16 years in Wyoming, and I got it revived and running. I'll stick a link up here to those episodes if you want to go back and watch those. Definitely a good watch, and we are looking to do some more of those in the future. So anyway, 69 Ford F100 was a long bed. I've now cut it down to a schmedium bed. Soon we'll be finishing the short bed chop to make it a complete short bed, but I'll show you what we have going on here. Okay, so this is what you're looking at. Ford's twin I-beam front suspension for two-wheel drive pickups, which they started using in 1965. And they had various different versions, I think even up into the late 2000s on two-wheel drive Super Duties, maybe even still. I'm not sure, I haven't looked under the front end of a new two-wheel drive Super Duty, but so we'll show you everything is. Basically you have these big two I-beams that are forged steel on the older ones. Pivot point there for that side and there for that side, and they basically kind of work like scissors. Wheel moves up and down, but it does it in a pretty severe arc, which does cause the tires to wear kind of more than some other things. Drum brakes, this thing has four-wheel drum brakes, coil springs, and then here's the radius arm in the back, which controls the movement front to back of the I-beam, because otherwise they would just flop all over the place at the mercy of the bushing. So that's what you're looking at stock. Now here is the 03 and up Panther chassis front suspension, which would be Grand Marquis, Crown Victoria, Lincoln Town Car, maybe some others. Throw them in there in the comments. Now this is short and long arm suspension, coil over shock, big disc brakes with dual piston calipers, rack and pinion steering versus the old worm gearbox on that. And what makes this so doable is, show you here. So we'll go that mounting bolt to this one is 33 inches, right? Roughly. Now I got my chingus in the way over there. So if you look here on this truck where the suspension mounts, so to the outside almost to the frame rail, 33 inches. So that, with some modification and fabrication, will bolt into this truck frame. And so you instantly bolt in rack and pinion steering, big disc brakes, short and long arm suspension, add a sway bar, so you're bolting in much better, newer parts, better handling, and it also lowers the truck about 5 inches. Anyway, I ended up finding this car. I'll cut a card in up here. 2007 Mercury Grand Marquis on Facebook Marketplace for 1,100 bucks, and I kind of haggled with the guy and I got it for 600 bucks. I sold the engine and transmission, scrapped the catalytic converters off of it, scrapped the body and the whole interior. Ended up getting it down to about, from 600 after I sold and parted out everything, down to about $130. And the car turned out to have a built 8.8 rear end that somebody just built with Ford Racing 373 gears and a Ford Racing Cobra traction lock diff, which has carbon fiber clutches in it. Good stuff. So that is a far cry from the stock open 293 gear or whatever rear that the car would have had. So I definitely scored on that. So let's say on this guy, I'm probably into it 60 or 70 bucks if you split this between the front and the rear end. I also scored wheels and tires, but not gonna be able to use those. One of the wheels bent and they're ugly, crappy Grand Marquis wheels anyway that nobody wants. So that's what I'm into this for. We're gonna get some measurements on this guy, get wheels and tires off, and we are gonna get into gutting and bracing this front end because everything from the firewall forward, except for the frame rails, is coming out. Get out the way.
Okay.
We got to do a little talkie. Little talkie. We need monkeys out of the way. Can you see me on there?
Uh-huh.
Okay. So, got the frame all cleaned up, and we are about ready to start cutting stuff out. Put the bumper back on for some support, but we are also going to just lightly weld in this brace, and then when we're all done, we will cut it out, won't we, Ro?
Yeah.
Okay, are you watching?
Yes.
Okay, flip your lid down. You ready?
Uh-huh.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Okay. Here we go.
It's shooting on me.
Did it shoot on you?
Mm-hmm.
How's that looking?
Good.
Okay. I'm probably welding it too good. That's gonna suck to cut out later. Oh well. Okay, one more this side. Strong like bull, Roni? What do you think? Don't cook the rubber! Ah!
Can I pull it out?
Sure. Okay, down. Okay. That ain't going nowhere, right?
Alright.
That's how you know it's not going anywhere, because you gotta grab it and shake it and say, that ain't going anywhere. You want to try it? Okay, go ahead. Don't touch the ends because they're hot. You can grab the middle. You gotta say, that ain't going nowhere.
It's going nowhere. Should I take this thing off?
Yeah.
Oof.
As far as what unbolts is disassembled anyway. So now what we're going to get into is cutting off all of the rivets to get these spring cups off, and then cutting out the center cross member. So I'm going to show you a trick here. What I do to cut off rivets, which is the quickest, easiest way for me with what I have. And then we'll get the Sawzall and start chopping out the middle. You're going to want to stay tuned for this. It's going to be riveting. Basically, we're cutting this whole center chunk out, which is welded in there, and it gives you all of your frame support between the rails and the front. We're cutting that all out, so we don't want it to twist and move around and stuff. So this should hold it in place. And then in here we have all of these rivets that we have to cut and chisel. So I'm going to show you my trick, which is cutting across in it with a cutoff wheel and then using an air chisel to hammer it off. So let's get into it. It's about to get real noisy. Okay, safety first, kids. Hearing protection, eye protection, finger protection, gloves. Anyway, so now you can see all of the spring shock mounts are off. The I-beam mounts are off, the outside ones. So now the plan of attack is to take the Sawzall and cut the center cross member out. I won't be able to get it all out with the Sawzall, but I kind of assessed it, and this is what looks easiest to me, and that is to slice it out so that it's out of the way, And then there will be a small lip left where it's welded to the frame, and I'll have to cut the weld on that and just hammer it, break it off. But I'm gonna get it all sliced out of there so that I can see what I'm doing and what I'm dealing with. So let's get to that. Plus, I got the Milwaukee torch right here, and I just feel like this guy's ready to rip. Okay, that was a little bit intense. Cross member is out. The frame is somewhat naked. Show you all the parts over here. So there's all the stuff cut out. Motor mounts, spring pockets, I-beam mounts, center cross member. There you go. So there's going to be a lot of fiddly cutting, air chiseling, hammering, grinding to get those little brace pockets out of there. And I'm probably going to just go ahead and cut out that steering box brace as well. We don't need it now that we have rack and pinion, so I'm going to get to that. I'm not really going to film it because it's going to be pretty boring, so I'll bring you back when we have clean frame rails and clean up this mess all over the floor. So we'll bring you back with a fresh start. Okay, I am running out of time on my weekend and haven't quite gotten the inner brace parts out. So I'll show you what I'm dealing with here. Trying to get this hammered out. So from what I can figure, there's some weld in the front, weld there, weld on the inside of here, and it's of course welded across the top. Not sure what's going on back here yet. I might need to get that steering box brace out to find that out, but you can see I've got it broken here. So what I did was took my cutoff wheel and just cut all along the weld and then just hammered and air chiseled until I got that bent down out of there. So I'm gonna finish getting that out, clean up my mess, and then we'll roll the front end under here and have a look. Here comes the payoff. We'll get it real close. And that, holy crap, that's slow. Okay. Okay, so this is what we're looking at. They're not quite, that one is in the rear hole, that one is a little to the outside. So both of those holes, if we're going to use those, will need widened, and it needs shoved over that way just a hair. But take a look at that. It's just like Ford intended it. And that is going to be low. Check that out. Alright. I'm going to throw a fender on there real quick, and we'll see kind of what it's looking like front to back. And a bunch of figuring and measuring has to happen now, which is going to be in the next episode, part 2, so make sure you stay tuned for that. Also, if you like Fox bodies, Thunderbird build going on right here. If you're not familiar with the truck, check out all those episodes and get caught up on what we're doing here. So this is a great place to be if you like Ford-based vehicle content. So, thanks everybody for watching. Thanks for liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing. Next video, not sure if it's going to be part 2 of this or if it's going to be back on the Thunderbird. That kind of depends on when I get the rear end back from the shop. And we are going to be doing a pre-merch giveaway. So, make sure you stay tuned. Exciting things to come. Thanks for watching.